The return of silence. The galaxy was burning. Fleets clashed in border systems. Colonies starved as trade routes collapsed. Pirates carved empires of their own. The council chamber, once the heart of unity, was nothing more than a graveyard of words. And still the 12 white human seats stood empty. Every delegate feared them now. Some avoided looking at them. Others stared too long as if waiting for ghosts to return. And in the streets beyond, the people whispered a single word: soon. One cold morning, the council chamber shook with alarms. A voice echoed through, the great hall trembling with panic. Unidentified vessel entering system. Not council design, not empire design. Delegates rushed to the windows. The golden skies outside were darkened by a single ship. It was vast, black against the stars, its shape sharp and terrible. No flags, no signals, only silence. The council guards trembled. What is it? The Shun elder whispered the words all of them feared. A human warship. The vessel did not fire. It did not broadcast. It simply moved closer, gliding silently across the void. The galaxy's greatest fleets had taken centuries to build, yet none matched this ship's presence. It looked alive, as if carved from shadow and light. The delegates shouted in panic, "Raise defenses. Contact our fleets. They have returned to destroy us." But the ship did not move to attack. It only lingered above the council world, like a star of death waiting for judgment. Inside the chamber, silence heavier than war filled the air. The delegates argued, their voices trembling with fear. "This is their threat," cried the Orun delegate. "They waited until we were weak. Now they come to end us." The Korra representative shook her head. "No. If they wanted us dead, we would already burn. This is not attack. This is message." The Vare delegate whispered, "What message?" No one answered. All eyes turned to the empty human seats. Hours passed. The ship remained above them, silent. Then, as the chamber debated endlessly, the walls trembled. A sound filled the hall, not from speakers, not from machines, but from the air itself. A voice deep and calm. It was human. "You have failed." The words struck like thunder. Delegates froze, their eyes wide with terror. Some clutched their chests as if the voice had reached into their hearts. The Shun elder whispered, his voice breaking. You can hear us still." The voice continued, slow and steady. "We gave you silence. We gave you time. We told you to wait. You chose war. You chose fear. You chose chaos." The chamber shook as the words echoed. The delegates fell into silence. Not one dared to answer. For a long moment, nothing followed, only the weight of judgment. Then the voice spoke again, softer now. "Humanity does not need the council. The galaxy needed us. And now you see the truth." The delegates trembled. Some wept quietly. Others bowed their heads. Even the proud Orun delegate had no words. The Korra representative whispered into the silence, "What will you do with us?" There was no reply. The ship above the planet slowly turned, its engines glowing faintly. It did not fire. It did not threaten. It simply left, vanishing into the stars as silently as it had come. The chamber sat frozen for hours. No one spoke. No one moved. The empty human seats seemed brighter than ever, glowing like white fire. Finally, the Shun elder broke the silence. His voice was soft, almost broken. "They left us once, and we collapsed. Now they have returned only to remind us what we are without them. Fragments. Nothing more." The council was quiet. No shouts, no threats, no arguments. Only fear. Across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. The humans had returned, or at least a shadow of them. One ship, one voice, and an entire galaxy trembled. On frontier colonies, people fell to their knees, praying for humanity's forgiveness. In empires, rulers swore to reform, to rebuild, to prove themselves worthy should Humans come again. Pirates abandoned raids, whispering that the stars were no longer theirs. The galaxy was united once more, not by treaties, not by force, but by fear of silence. On the council world, the human seats remained empty, but they were no longer seen as absence. They were thrones, waiting, and every delegate knew the truth. One day humanity would return, not with war, not with words, but with silence strong enough to break the galaxy. Echoes of humanity. The galaxy had grown used to human silence. But silence does not last forever. It began with whispers. Explorers moving through abandoned colonies reported strange signals, low pulses, repeating patterns, fragments of human language carried across the void. At first they were dismissed as broken machines, but then the signals began to spread. Every empire received them. Fleets, colonies, even hidden stations in deep space, one by one they caught the same message. 3 words. Clear, deliberate. We are watching. In the council chamber, panic grew. The Orun delegate pounded his scaled fists on the table. This is proof. They left traps. They spy on us even now. Humanity plans to return with vengeance. The Korra representative hissed sharply. No, this is not a threat. It is a warning. Humans never speak without purpose. If they say they are watching, it means they judge us. The Shun elder closed his eyes. And what do they see? A council collapsing into chaos, colonies starving, empires fighting. Perhaps they left to test us, and we are failing. The empty human seats glowed faintly under the golden lights. They seemed to listen in silence, as if approving or condemning every word. Reports poured in faster than the council could meet. On the ruined colony of Titan, human-built drones gathered in the streets, moving in perfect formation. They carried no weapons, spoke no words. They only walked in circles, tracing patterns into the dust, patterns that formed the shape of an eye. On Mars, abandoned libraries lit up at night. The machines inside projected holograms of human history into the skies, showing wars, victories, tragedies, and unity. Aliens who saw it described the feeling as overwhelming, as if humanity was speaking directly into their hearts. And on Earth itself, deep beneath the oceans, a signal pulsed stronger than all the rest. It carried one word repeated endlessly across the stars. Wait. The council could no longer agree on meaning. Some claimed these were ghosts of humanity, machines carrying out final instructions after their creators had vanished. Others whispered of something far darker, that humans had never left at all, that they were hidden, watching silently from beyond the council's reach, waiting for the galaxy to destroy itself. And still others, fewer in number but louder in faith, believed this was humanity's way of guiding them. That the signals were reminders, that humans had not abandoned the galaxy, they were testing it. In the far colonies, fear turned into worship. On 3 worlds, alien populations gathered in the ruins of human-built cities, kneeling before glowing machines as if they were temples. They called themselves the Children of Silence, and they preached that one day humans would return to rule again. When the council heard of this, the Orun delegate exploded with rage. Blasphemy! They poison our people even after leaving. Humanity is a disease, we must burn every trace. But his words only deepened the divide. More empires began to protect human relics, seeing them as sacred. Some fleets even fought to claim abandoned human colonies, not for resources, but for the hope of earning human favor when they returned. The galaxy tore itself apart over shadows and echoes. In the council chamber, the Shun elder rose, his voice heavy with despair. We have become children fighting over bones. Humanity's silence grows louder, and in that silence, we destroy ourselves. Perhaps this is their test. To see if we can rise without them, the Korra representative whispered coldly. Or perhaps they already know the answer, and we have failed. The chamber fell into a heavy silence. Every eye turned, as always, to the empty human seats. That night, when the chamber was dark, a lone aide walked through the hall. She paused before the human seats, staring at the white stone that seemed to glow faintly even without light. She thought she was alone, but then a sound filled the air. Not a voice, not words, just a low hum, vibrating in her chest. The seats pulsed with faint, golden light. The aide fell to her knees, trembling. Her voice shook as she whispered into the silence. "What do you want from us?" The hum grew louder, and then, for the first time in weeks, words filled the chamber. A voice, cold, clear, unmistakably human. "Not yet," the aide fled, terrified. But the words spread quickly. The council, the colonies, the empires, all heard the rumor. Humanity was not gone. They were waiting, and the galaxy, trembling in fear and chaos, realized the truth. The silence was not absence. The silence was judgment, the collapse. The council chamber no longer felt like the center of the galaxy. It felt like a battlefield. The empty human seats still glowed faintly under the golden lights, but no one looked to them for unity anymore. Instead, the delegates shouted across the chamber, their voices full of accusation, fear, and anger. "You shelter human relics in your colonies," roared the Oran delegate, his scaled claws gripping the desk. "You wait for their return to betray us all," the Cora representative hissed in rage. "Lies! You attack our fleets on the border and blame humanity. Do not pretend to be victim. You are the one tearing this council apart." The Shun elder struck his staff on the floor, but the echoes no longer brought silence. The voices kept rising like thunder before a storm. Beyond the chamber, the galaxy burned. In the outer colonies, rebellions broke out. Whole planets declared independence, refusing to obey empires too weak to protect them. Pirate kings claimed sectors of space, ruling with violence where once humans had kept order. Two great empires clashed openly for the first time in centuries. The Orun fleets attacked the Ver, claiming they were hiding human knowledge. The Ver struck back, their ships burning across the stars. The council sent envoys, but without humans to enforce peace, their words were ignored. Treaties meant nothing. Promises shattered like glass. Everywhere the same whispers echoed. The galaxy is breaking. Inside the chamber, desperation twisted into violence. The Ver delegate stood with trembling hands, holding up a hollow tablet. "Our colonies burn. Our fleets are outnumbered. We asked for council aid and you sent nothing. What is the meaning of this council if it cannot protect us?" the Oran delegate sneered. "It means you are weak. Humanity protected you, not us. Now you reap what you sow." The Cora slammed her claw against the table. "Enough. Do you not see? We are all weaker without them. Every empire crumbles. And still you fight among yourselves like fools." The chamber shook with shouts. Delegates rose from their seats, some drawing weapons, others calling guards. For centuries, humanity's presence had kept order, their calm words, their unbreakable will, their fleets ready to defend. Without them, the council was nothing but fragments. Now the fragments cut each other. Rumors spread faster than light. One said that human warships had been seen at the edge of the galaxy. Another claimed that humans hid beyond the black void, waiting to return when the galaxy tore itself apart. Some whispered that humans had never left at all, that they moved unseen, guiding events from the shadows. But the most dangerous rumor was the simplest. Humanity is testing us. Some empires believed it. They fought to prove themselves worthy, protecting human ruins and swearing loyalty to the silence. Others rejected it, burning human archives and swearing to erase their legacy. The galaxy split into two camps, those who worshipped humanity's memory and those who feared it. In the council chamber, the Shun elder rose slowly, his voice heavy with grief. "Look around you," he said. "Once, this chamber was a beacon of unity. Now it is a hall of betrayal. Once we looked to humans for balance. Now we tear each other apart in their absence. Humanity warned us with silence. They told us to wait. But we are deaf." His voice cracked. "We are no longer a council. We are no longer a galaxy. We are fragments, falling into the dark." The chamber fell silent, not in agreement, but in exhaustion. Everyone knew his words were true. That night, the Golden Hall stood empty. Guards patrolled the dark corridors, but even they whispered in fear. The 12 white human seats seemed brighter than usual, as if glowing with unseen fire. One guard swore he heard a voice in the silence. Not loud, not clear, just a whisper. Soon, he told no one. But the word spread anyway, carried on the air like smoke. Soon, the galaxy was collapsing, and humanity was still waiting. The hidden fear. The galaxy had always believed itself vast and powerful, yet now with humanity gone, its size felt hollow. Trade slowed. Fleets hesitated to leave their borders. Pirates attacked without fear. And everywhere, in every corner of space, the same thought spread quietly like a shadow. We depended on humans more than we ever admitted. On the council world, the chambers were filled again, but the mood had changed. Delegates spoke softer, their eyes sharp with worry. The Shun elder tried to sound calm. The galaxy is stable. We are strong. Humanity's absence is troubling, yes, but temporary. We must continue as before. But his voice shook. He knew, as everyone did, that the cracks were already visible. The Cora representative leaned forward, her insect claws tapping against the desk. Trade convoys are being slaughtered on the frontier. Entire colonies scream for protection. Who will defend them now? The humans once patrolled those borders and no pirate dared attack. Now the stars burn every night. The Orun delegate hissed in agreement, though his words carried venom. Perhaps that was humanity's plan all along. They made us weak by making us rely on them. No, snapped the Cora. They kept us alive. The argument died in silence. No one wanted to admit the truth, but all of them felt it. Far from the council chamber on the trade routes between the stars, fear became reality. A merchant convoy carrying food supplies for 3 colonies was ambushed by raiders. For years, humans had escorted these routes. Their ships were small, but they fought like fire, never backing down. Now, without them, the raiders struck fast and left only wreckage. One survivor, a trembling alien with scorched wings, carried a simple message back to the council. We need the humans. Without them, we are prey. The council chamber grew darker with every report. A delegate from the Veyer system stood, his robes torn. My colony screams for aid. The pirates come every week. We cannot hold. Where are the fleets? The answer came bitterly. The fleets stay at home, another delegate muttered. No one dares risk their own strength anymore. Everyone protects only themselves. And so, the Shun elder whispered, the galaxy falls apart. The empty human seats glowed faintly at the center of the chamber, like ghosts watching over the chaos. Delegates avoided looking at them, yet their presence was heavier than stone. Some whispered that the humans had planned this, leaving silently, knowing the council would tear itself apart without them. Others feared something darker. What if humanity had discovered a threat greater than the council, something so dangerous it forced them to vanish? In the lower halls of the station, rumors spread like fire. Workers whispered about strange signals. Machines left behind by humans, flickered with life. Old satellites transmitted words no alien could understand. One word kept returning, carved into walls, etched into steel, transmitted across silent waves. Wait. But wait for what? In private meetings, leaders spoke truths. They never admitted in public. The Cora representative hissed quietly to her allies. We are collapsing without them. Their fleets, their maps, their engineers. Gone. Already we struggle to travel our own borders. Humanity was the thread holding this galaxy together. Without it, we unravel. One of her aides asked, do you think they knew? She looked at the empty chamber above. They always knew. Meanwhile, in the dark reaches of space, 2 empires clashed. The Orun accused the Veyer of hiding human knowledge. The Veyer accused the Orun of raiding colonies. Old grudges returned like fire. The council called for peace, but without humans to enforce it, words carried no weight. The chamber rang with empty promises, and all the while, The empty human seats waited silently, as if mocking them. The Shun elder stood once more, his voice trembling. We must face the truth. Humanity has left us. Their silence is louder than war, and in that silence, fear grows. No one argued. Every delegate looked at the empty chairs, and in that moment, they all understood something none dared say aloud. Without humans, the galaxy was not united. Without humans, the galaxy was afraid. The breaking council, the Galactic Council chamber, had always been a storm of voices. But this time it was more than argument. It was war. The empty human seats stood at the center, glowing faintly under the golden lights, like ghosts watching over the chaos. Every delegate shouted over the other, their words echoing off the great walls. They abandoned us, roared the Orun delegate, his scaled fists slamming the desk. Human silence is betrayal. We must prepare for their return, or they will crush us when we are weakest. Lies, snapped the Korra representative, her insect-like body rigid with fury. Humans never betrayed us. They carried this council for centuries. Without them, your kind would already be dust. You defend them because you are blind, hissed the Orun. Or perhaps because you hide their secrets. Gasps spread across the chamber. The accusation was like a spark in dry grass. The Ver delegate stood, his robes swaying. Enough. My colonies starve while you bicker. Pirates burn our convoys. The council was strong when humans protected us. Now, without them, we collapse. Then perhaps the council should end, shouted another voice from the far side. The chamber fell into stunned silence. The speaker, a delegate from the Creel systems, spread his clawed hands. Why cling to a council that no longer works? It was the humans who forced us to meet, who forced peace when we wanted war. Now they are gone. Why pretend unity still matters? His words struck deep. Many stared at the empty seats, remembering the truth. Without humans, the council had no balance. The Shun elder tried to restore calm, his voice trembling. We must not let old grudges tear us apart. Humanity's absence is painful, yes, but we must hold together. Hold together? The Orun delegate cut in with a laugh. You speak as though unity exists. Already empires break treaties. Fleets mass at borders. Soon blood will flow, and your words will not stop it. The Korra's claws scraped the table. If you seek war, you will have it. But remember this. The last time empires fought freely, it was humans who ended it. Without them, we will burn. The chamber exploded in shouts again. Accusations flew like knives. Some called for strength, others for retreat. Some demanded the destruction of human archives, claiming their knowledge was dangerous. Others demanded protection of human relics, insisting they were the only hope left. The council no longer spoke as one. It broke into fragments before their very eyes. Meanwhile, outside the chamber, the galaxy reflected the same chaos. Two border systems clashed over a trade route once patrolled by human fleets. 3 colonies declared independence, refusing to pay taxes to their distant rulers. Merchants stopped traveling, fearing raids. The stars grew darker every day, and always the rumors spread. Of human machines flickering with life, of satellites, whispering strange signals of the carved word found on Earth. Wait. Back inside the chamber, desperation replaced diplomacy. The Ver delegate slammed a data tablet onto the desk. Look, my scouts recorded human drones moving across abandoned cities. Who controls them? Where do they go? What do they mean? The Shun elder studied the images with shaking hands. Silent machines walking streets, their lights glowing faintly as if following instructions left long ago. They are reminders, whispered the Korra. Reminders that humanity is not gone. They are watching us, judging us. The Orun delegate snarled. Or they are traps. They left these things to keep us weak, to make us fear shadows. The shouting grew louder, until words no longer mattered. Delegates left their seats, pointing, threatening. Guards entered, their weapons ready. The council was breaking, openly, violently. In the chaos, the empty human seats remained untouched, cold, silent. One young aide, watching from the gallery above, whispered softly to herself, "This is what they wanted us to see." "What do you mean?" another asked. "That we cannot hold without them. That our unity was never ours. It belonged to them." Her words went unheard beneath the thunder of voices below. The Shun elder raised his staff, slamming it against the stone floor until the echoes silenced the hall for a moment. His old eyes glimmered with sorrow. "Look around you," he said. "We are not leaders. We are children fighting over scraps in the absence of our parents. Humanity gave us unity. Without them, we are nothing but fragments. And fragments cannot rule the galaxy." No one argued. The truth was clear. The council was shattering piece by piece. And somewhere in the silence beyond the stars, humanity's word echoed again. Wait. The silent departure. The Galactic Council chamber was never silent. It was a place of endless arguments, of voices raised in pride, fear, or power. But on this day, silence filled the great hall. Every delegate sat frozen in their seats, staring at the glowing display at the center. The message was short. The words repeated in every language of the galaxy. Earth is empty. For a moment, no one believed it. Then images came. Satellites sent back views of abandoned cities. Towers once filled with lights stood in darkness. Roads that once carried billions of footsteps were empty, covered in dust. The oceans moved. Without ships, the skies without sound. Billions of humans, gone. Vanished without warning. No explosions, no battles, no cries for help. Only silence. The council leader, an elder from the Shuan Empire, broke the silence with a trembling voice. "This is impossible. Entire species do not disappear overnight, the Ral delegate, a cold reptilian figure, hissed. Perhaps they fled. Perhaps humanity hid themselves, waiting to strike again. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some nodded in fear. Others shook their heads in denial. The Cora representative, tall and insect-like, slammed her claw against the table. "No species with so much pride leaves without a reason. Something forced them, something greater than us all." Her words made the room grow colder. In the corner, an old holoscreen replayed Earth's last transmission. A peaceful image of the planet spinning in space. No voices, no farewell. The silence was worse than any threat. Delegates whispered among themselves. Did they abandon us? Did they build a weapon? Did someone destroy them? One voice rose louder than the rest. A representative from the Orun system, known for their fear of humans, shouted, "This is their plan. Humans wanted us weak. They have vanished only to return stronger." The chamber filled with shouts. Accusations flew like sparks in dry wood. Old wounds reopened. Wars once stopped by human negotiation were now remembered with anger. But still, the truth remained. Earth was silent. Far from the council chamber, explorers confirmed what the message said. Cities stood like hollow shells. The great libraries of Earth were empty. The colonies on Mars, Luna and Titan, silent. Every station, every ship, deserted. Humanity had vanished not just from Earth, but from across the stars. The discovery spread through the galaxy faster than light. Traders panicked. Border empires grew restless. Pirates saw opportunity. And in every dark corner, a single question burned. Why did humanity leave? Some remembered the strength of humans in war. Small, fragile bodies that fought harder than anyone expected. Others remembered their inventions, their endless curiosity, their stubborn refusal to surrender. Perhaps, one delegate whispered, they grew tired of us, tired of carrying this council, tired of solving our disputes. Perhaps they left because they no longer needed us. The suggestion stung. Many laughed in denial, but deep inside, fear grew, because it felt true. That night, the council chamber stood empty, but in the shadows, a few leaders remained behind, speaking quietly. The Shun elder said, "Without humans, the balance breaks. The outer colonies will rebel. The trade lanes will fall." The Cora representative nodded. We depended on them more than we admitted. They were the thread holding us together, and now the thread has been cut, whispered another. They looked around the great chamber, its golden walls glowing faintly. For the first time in centuries, the council felt fragile. On a distant station orbiting what used to be Earth, AID, lone drone continued its task. It drifted through the dark cities, scanning empty streets, empty homes, empty skies. Its log recorded the same words again and again. No human presence detected. Yet as it floated past the abandoned towers, it caught something strange, a symbol carved into stone. Fresh, sharp, and deliberate, a single human word. Wait. The next morning, the Galactic Council gathered again. Rumors spread quickly about the symbol. Some said it was fake, others said it was a warning. But one thing was certain. Humanity had not been destroyed. They had chosen to leave. And somewhere, they were waiting. The chamber filled once more with voices. Fear, suspicion, anger. But beneath it all, silence lingered in their minds. Because the galaxy understood a truth they had never wanted to face. Humanity did not need the council. It was the council that needed humanity, and without them, the galaxy was already beginning to break, the empty throne. The Galactic Council chamber looked different without humanity's presence. For centuries, the humans had occupied 12 seats carved from white stone, placed at the very center of the hall. Those chairs were never empty, until now. They stood cold and lifeless like monuments to ghosts. The sight unsettled everyone. The emptiness was louder than voices. The council meeting began in chaos. The Shun elder struck the table with his staff. Order. We must remain calm. Humanity has left, yes, but we are still strong together. But his voice was drowned by arguments. The Arun delegate leaned forward, his scaled face twisted with fear. This is their trick. Do you not see? Humans left to prepare for war. They are watching us now, laughing, waiting for the moment we fall. A chorus of shouts followed. Nonsense, said the Korra representative. Her insect-like claws clicked against the table. Humans were proud. If they wanted war, they would fight openly, not vanish like shadows. Or perhaps something greater destroyed them, murmured another voice, low and trembling. What if humanity was only the first victim? The chamber fell into a heavy silence. No one wanted to consider that possibility. At the edge of the hall, the empty human seats gleamed faintly under the golden light. They felt like a wound in the chamber, a reminder of power now gone. Delegates kept glancing at them as if expecting humans to walk in at any moment. But the seats remained empty, mocking the galaxy's most powerful council. One delegate finally said what many feared to admit. Without humans, this council is broken. The council leader tried to speak again. We must not divide. If humanity has chosen silence, we must investigate together. Their colonies, their fleets, their archives. Archives? Barked the Arun delegate. Their libraries are traps. Every book, every record, every word, hidden weapons. We should burn them before it's too late. Enough, shouted the Korra representative. Destroying human knowledge will destroy us. How many of you use their maps to travel the stars? How many of your ships run on human designs? How many wars ended because humans negotiated peace? The room shook with noise. Arguments rose. Voices cracked. Threats slipped into the air like poison. For centuries, humans had been the balance. Now, balance was gone. Meanwhile, rumors spread outside the chamber. Traders whispered that human colonies had left behind strange machines that still moved even without their creators. Explorers spoke of signals echoing through the void, whispers of words not meant for alien ears. One rumor was repeated, again and again, the word carved into stone on Earth. Wait, what were the humans waiting for? The council reconvened after hours of shouting. Exhausted, the delegates sat in silence. The Shun elder's voice cracked as he finally spoke. Stand at a cliff. With humans we held unity. Without them we are falling. The throne is empty and already the galaxy trembles. His words echoed across the chamber. All eyes turned once more to the empty white seats. Some saw them as relics. Others saw them as warnings. But all of them felt the same thing: fear. That night in private quarters, smaller groups formed. Allies whispered of betrayal. Rivals plotted to seize old human territories. Merchants feared collapse of trade routes once guarded by human fleets. And in the darkness, the council chamber stood empty again. Only the 12 white chairs remained, glowing softly in the golden hall. Some said they looked like graves. Others said they looked like invitations. Because everyone knew the truth. If humanity ever returned, those seats would not stay empty for long. And when humans sat upon them again, the galaxy would not be ready.